Hi, I'm Peter Rose, founder of Longwood Currency Trading. Look, Forex trading, now is the time. Now is the time to get serious about your trading. Now is the time to get into it. Now is the time, if you're 50 years old or 25 years old or whatever age you are, to take a serious look at this stuff and get into it. If you go to my website, longwoodcurrencytrading.com, on the currency trading page, there are 7 reasons I list, and I listed them like 8 years ago, as to why I feel the Forex market is the most viable market out there to trade. And that was back in the days when it was a $3.4 trillion a day market. Now it's $7.6 trillion. This is 2026. The liquidity, the stability, the lack of consolidation into stock exchanges and things, the distributed nature of that market makes it one of the finest, most, the safest markets to trade. And yet you see so many people going to crypto and all this other crazy stuff and penny stocks. And some people can do that stuff, but you have to really work at that. You have to work at it because they're smaller markets. And with smallness comes the need to pay attention to all the little details that go with that. Even if you're trading penny stocks, you have to know about the company. You have to know what the story is. You have to ferret out whether it's true or not true. You don't have any of that stuff to do in the currency market. It's true. It's legit. It's people in 2-pair countries that are trying to do economic exchange between the 2 countries. It's never going to go away. And it's always going to increase in value as long as countries are communicating with each other. Now, you can form consolidations of those countries like the Euro tried to do. And obviously the Brexit situation where the UK decided this isn't going to work because we don't want to be punished. We don't want our economy punished because there are some countries in here that aren't pulling their weight, doing their share, and they're wrecking the value of the euro. We don't want that. So they pulled out. There's a group of countries right now trying to get together and support away from the USD as the reserve currency. Why bother to try to get away from the USD as a reserve currency? Who cares? Don't do business with the US. It does. Why do people do business with each other? It's because you've got stuff that I want. And it's made well, and I'll do that. And guess what? If I buy your stuff, maybe you'll buy my stuff. So it's not going to go away. And it's so big, nobody can game it. So that's the elevator pitch for the currency market. But let's look a little deeper. Why is now the time to get serious about your Forex trading? And I'm talking to those of you who are 30 and above, who are involved in buying homes, having kids, working a job, getting laid off, finding another job, trying to deal with AI and find a way to gain new skills when you've been doing something one way for 5 or 8 or 10 years. And now you've got these AI tools that are involved in it that are wiping out your whole lower administrative departments. And so how's the educational process going to satisfy this new job demand? And there's so many people. They say, "Oh, well, we're going to be all these people are you're going to start your own businesses, and you're going to go online and yada yada." It's crazy because most people are not geared to run a business. A lot of people don't want to get online and put their face out and be the representative of their product or their service or their ideas or the organization that it takes, or just editing videos, doing accounting and books. There's a lot of people that can't do that. They're not interested in doing that. They'd rather be a plumber or an artist or an astronaut. And that's fine. You can do all that other stuff regardless, but what are you going to do with the money that you're getting paid? Are you going to work for somebody else and depend on them to make your paycheck? And on Tuesday you walk in and they go, "Oh, sorry, you've been with us 13 years and you're gone." Or you're going to think you're going to work for yourself. So you're working 40, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week for somebody else and hate it. What makes you think that you're going to work 100 hours a week for yourself and balance all the different, the accounting, the HR, the insurance, all the stuff that goes with it, working for yourself? What makes you think that you're going to be any happier doing that? Selling your knitted caps or your course on how to castrate rats. I don't, let's be realistic about stuff. Not everybody can do everything. I wouldn't be a very good doctor. I puke at the closest I got to stuff like that was I took a genetics course in college. But you know, when you start do biology and you're poking on frog muscles to have them jerk their arm, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I don't have the memory to be able to remember all the stuff that a lawyer has to know. And I don't have the patience to deal with accounting. So just a few things that I don't like to do. But I was very good at solving problems and writing computer programs and learning computer languages. And I had a career doing that. I was interested in real estate. I spent 40 years in real estate. I got a bachelor's degree in physics because I'm fascinated about how things work. And because I got the bachelor's in physics, I needed more math. So I got almost a minor in math. So those are the things I'm interested in, but not everybody would be interested in solving Schrodinger's wave equation, taking 6 days to solve one equation. But everybody needs to know a little bit about money. You write me a check, where do I put the money that's left over? You're going to put it in savings, or maybe you're an expert at working on cars. And every couple of months, you'll take a car in and fix it up, and maybe you'll make $1,000 or something. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of training to be able to do that. And you're going to make $1,000 a month or whatever. You say, oh, well, that's great. Well, when you're 50 years old, maybe that isn't so great. Maybe you don't want to work on somebody's car out in your backyard over a canvas tent while it's sleeting out. Maybe that isn't going to work out too good for you in the long run. If you can sit in front of a computer and enjoy computer games, or you know how to do complicated Word documents, for example, or Google Docs, you know how to use a spreadsheet, you are on the internet through your browser, you know how to operate your browser and set bookmarks, and you know your way around a computer, and you're comfortable in front of a computer, and you don't mind sitting there with your life involved in working online. That's all you need to have as an interest to trade Forex, because you're already interested in money. You're looking for a job that you can enjoy to do that's stable and safe. Well, you enjoy making money. So Forex, you can make money. And you don't have to have all this training and knowledge that the guys that are doing commodities or stocks or forward futures or all that other kind of stuff need to know. There's stuff that's important that you need to know, but I'm not seeing that taught out there. I'm seeing people trying to learn to trade retail Forex, and the people making it so complicated and so much that you need to know how to do and how much to keep in your head and constant research that it defeats the purpose of the underlying foundation of what the Forex market is all about. The Forex market is the most complex market that's out there. But from a standpoint of looking at it as somebody who's done physics and math, that complexity therefore brings about stability. My entry analysis that I teach in my fast track course covers what I call the life cycle of a currency position, which is entry analysis, position management, and exit methodology. And the entry analysis is so simple. It's a one rule with 4 conditions. It's the more complex of the 3 phases of the life cycle of a currency position, obviously, because if you don't have a a position, you don't have a position to manage, and you certainly don't have anything to get out of. So that entry analysis is important, and so it has 4 conditions. 4 conditions is all it has, one rule to solve all the problems that are involved in entry analysis. When you're evaluating whether you're going to buy GM stock or DuPont, what analysis are you going to have to do? A lot. And how much peripheral knowledge of the market and the industry groups and the coalition between the industry groups are you going to have to know about? A lot. What do I have to know about? I don't have to know very much. I have to understand process, because if you try to trade with a system against the Forex market, you're doomed to failure. Yes, that system will work for a while until those market conditions change, and then that system isn't going to work. So you're going to practice doing something for 3 or 4 weeks, and everything is going to go really well for you. Then you're going to pile on the wood for more fire, and it's going to go against you. You're going to lose. You're not going to believe that anything has changed because you won't know it, because you don't understand process. So you'll keep doing the same thing, and the result will be you keep losing. And the more you lose, the angrier you get. And you know, you've been there. You've traded before. Nobody watches my videos that hasn't traded, because I only teach people that have traded before, because you're the only ones that understand what I'm saying. You have to have gone through the losses and the pains and all that stuff for me to be able to say, you know too much. You're trying to do too much. Back off a little bit. The complexity isn't there for you to solve. That's not the problem that you need to solve, is the complexity of the Forex market. All you need to figure out is, how do I get into the trade? What do I do while it's running? And how do I get out? 3 things. Now, if we can agree on those 3 things, and we work through that on the fast track course as a process, as opposed to, in entry analysis, I look for the short MA, the cross, the long MA, and then the exit methodology, I look at the golden part of it, and when it's going the other way, then I get out. No. That's static analysis of a very complex system, and you can't do that. You know, there's a proverb where we look at the strong oak tree on the side of a cliff near the ocean and a willow next to that oak tree. And there's a terrific storm that comes up, and the oak tree is there and it's withstanding that. But it's just the wind and the storm is just too great. And the oak tree breaks and falls over. But the willow just bends and lies down. And when the storm goes by, the willow comes back up. It's the simplicity of dealing with the complexity that wins over, instead of fighting against nature. So if you have a lot of information, then you are doing yourself a disservice by trying to apply that information in the Forex market. Go trade stocks. That's where that kind of study is needed. The fast track course is designed for folks that have a job and work, maybe even working at home, self-employed. You can't just sit there and look at the computer and trade all day. You have to work. So what do we need to do? The big problem is, can we work at trading Forex for an hour or 2 hours in the morning before we go to work or start work, while the 2 pair countries that we're trading are active? Can we make enough money during that period of time to replace our job income, or at least significantly impact that income? If you're making $60,000 a year, if you could make 10% of that, $6,000, or even 3% of that, $3,000. How big of an account would you need in order to make $3,000? Not much. Is $3,000 a significant impact on that $60,000 income? I use $60,000 because right now $63,000 is the average income, or the median income, in the United States. So if you're making $60,000 a year, is your boss going to give you a $3,000 raise? Is he going to give you that $3,000 raise the next year? But off on the side, you're working for an hour or 2 hours, and you're generating $300 a month, let's say, for $3,000 a year. Isn't that the way that you should be thinking about how to make money in this economy with AI coming on board, the changes in the computational power with quantum computing coming online at some point, and all the different kinds of occupations and jobs that are coming out, and the resistance of the people who are running these companies to embrace this technology and to treat their employees the way the employees need to be treated, they're going to try to do things the same way, and you're going to be very unsuccessful at doing that. The educational system is going to have to change. The whole world is going to change. If you're 5 years old right now, you won't have to worry about it when you get to be 20, because all this shit will have settled out. But what are you going to do right now? What are you doing right now in order to prepare a foundation of knowledge and learning so that you can make an extra $3,000 a year against your $60,000 income? And as you get better at the trading process, all you need to do is add more money into your account to make the same percentage against that to make more money. If I have $10,000 in my account and I make 20% against that, I make $2,000. If I have $100,000 in my account, 20% against that's $20,000. And let me tell you something. In your Forex trading, if you can't make over 20% on your money, you shouldn't be trading Forex. Oh, yeah. In crypto, you're going to make 300% every 2 months. Great. Until what happens? Until it doesn't work, and then you lose all your money. Well, the easy money in crypto has been made. Now, it's settling down in different patterns. You have a lot of guys in crypto that are 100 millionaires, $100 million crypto traders. And then you got a lot of other ones that are just dubbing around. So you have to be very careful about the vehicle that you choose in order to entrust your future wealth to. Those of you who are working in jobs right now that have 401k plans, well, you can get some crazy shit in your head about some stock that you want to buy, that your broke Uncle Bob is suggesting that you do that. But you put your bulk of your money in your 401k so that over the next 20 or 30 years, that grows at 5% or 8% or whatever. And you end up with a substantial amount of money at the end. There are more millionaires now. They have the basis of their $1 million net worth is based on their equity in their house and their 401k balance. Both forced savings, because you can't just sell your house every 4 days. And you're not going to trade inside of a 401k. You can't. You're not allowed to. But look how much better you could be if you had some knowledge and were able to build that knowledge over the course of you're 30 years old, you start learning how to trade Forex. By the time you're 35, you got it all knocked down and all together, and you're starting to make some really significant money. You start learning at 30, are you going to be able to make 20% on your money in 4 days? No. But at the end of the fast track program, you need to have the knowledge, and I'll show you the knowledge and how easy it is to get to 20%. It is easy, because the process to get to 20% is simple. Now, all you have to do in the Forex program, as we get toward the end of it, of the fast track program, as we get to the end of it, is understand how to manipulate the simple rules that we have to put different input into the conditions that will give you a better answer. And that better answer translates to 40% return, 60% return against your money, 80%, all the way up to 120%. And I'm talking about 10 to 1 leverage, not 100 to 1 or 500 to 1, which is caustic. Your choice. But if you have interest in what I'm saying, please send me an email. I'd love to chat with you about it. We'll set up a video chat and I'll explain all this stuff to you. And I'm not trying to sell you a course. I don't have the bandwidth to do that. It's just me selling the course. I don't have somebody else working for me. I don't even have an admin person. I don't have time. I'm retired. I'm not interested in teaching 400 people and being on the phone all day. So for the few people that do want to learn, I will tell you what the course is about if you ask. If you don't ask, I'm not going to mention the course. I'm just going to try to help you answer your problem if it's a problem. And if you have a process issue, I'll try to explain to you why your process is broken, but I can't fix that, right? You know that. If you're having a problem driving, you can't back up. You need to back up, and you don't know how to do that, and so you circle the car around to the front. I can show you where the shift is to put it into reverse. But if you're driving the car and you cannot manage staying on the road or drifting off onto the side of the, well, that's a process. That's not a problem. It's a process issue. And so you're going to have some driving lessons. Now, whether you take my fast track course or not is immaterial to me. I don't need your money. I retired a millionaire from my real estate, 40 years in real estate. So that's your protection from me. I don't need your money, but I would like to help you. So if you have questions about this stuff, if you're 30 and above and you're looking at what the hell are you going to do if you lose your job or what's going to happen, I can show you how to gain the skills in order to address those issues. If you give me a few minutes on a video chat to do that. And I am not going to try to sell you a course. I'm going to tell it to you like it is. So if you have interest in the financial markets at all, let's take a look at that Forex market more closely. If you are involved in the Forex market or have been in the past, or you're somewhat knowledgeable about it, maybe talking with me will reinforce in you the viability of that market. You wouldn't get a guy like me with 40 years of real estate going into Forex if I didn't think that Forex was better. If I look back at my 25-year-old self, 24-year-old self, when I started buying real estate, if I knew what I know about real estate, even then, and what I know about the Forex market now, I would not do real estate. I would do the Forex market, even if I was losing, because I'm building skills. I never lost in real estate because I knew what I was doing. And losing isn't part of the game in real estate, but I knew an awful lot of people that did lose money in real estate. I never did. I was very fortunate because I knew the rules of the game. And I know the rules of the game in the Forex market, and I can explain them to you, and then you can make a better decision as to whether you want to look at this stuff seriously or not. If you're just a hobby trader and you want to make some pocket money, I'm not the guy that you want to watch the videos or God forbid, send an email to, because I can't help you. But if you're serious about learning a skill that potentially could replace your job income, just like you're going to invest $200,000 and go into college in a particular degree, you're putting your faith and trust that that training, that course, is going to take you to the point where you can get a job and make $50,000 a year, year after year after year. And so whatever it costs you to do that, that's a business, and that will be paid back over the course of time. It's the same thing with taking a course in anything. But you have to be convinced that the Forex market, that you have an interest in that market, not just to make money, but you have to have an interest in the market itself. And if you do, send me an email. We need to talk. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day and have a great trading day.